the son would hear his father's cry. Turn your heart toward home. Turn your heart toward home. You've been gone so long. Turn your heart toward home. And not only the sons are the wayward ones, there are mothers and fathers who have said their goodbyes, and the sad eyes of children are looking through their tears, praying Mom and Daddy would hear their cries. Turn your heart toward home. Turn your heart toward home. You've been gone so long. Turn your heart toward home. And there are those who have never walked away from home, but in their hearts they're so many miles away. And the Father in heaven is the only one who knows. If they listen, they would hear him say, turn your heart toward home. Turn your heart toward home. You've been gone so long. Turn your heart toward home. You've been gone so long. Please don't wait too long. Turn your heart toward home.
Well, that song meant a lot to me because actually I preached on the prodigal when I was in Uganda and talked about that, but you guys know my story, so I won't bother to tell it again. But when I was there, I was really longing for home and for family, and was grateful to get back and to be back. But this church was such an instrumental part of what took place in Uganda this year that you get the privilege of being the first church to see anything about what took place. And Matt Turk, who is here with us today in the back there, it was great. There were just two of us, and so we were able to fly fast. And not on the trip over and back, but while we're in Uganda, we were able to move around really quickly. It was there was no herding cats on this trip, so it was really pretty neat. So it was fun. So I taught this while I was there, and it was actually, I took it from Our Daily Bread. If you guys have been reading Our Daily Bread recently, you'll pick up on this. But in John chapter 6, beginning in verse 1, it says, when Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, where should we buy bread for these people to eat? Now, he asked this only to test him, to test Philip, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered him, and I love this answer, because this is the answer probably that we would all give. It would take more than half a year's wages. That was about 200 denarii. And it would take half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. Not to have a full meal, but just to get a bite. So he's being practical, isn't he? He's saying what we would all say. There's no way, Lord. I mean, look at all the people. Another of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, who would obviously probably watch some pretty amazing miracles take place with Peter, he spoke up and he said, here's a boy. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that I'm supposed to be doing this. He said, here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many? I think there are several things to notice in this. First of all, I love the fact that it was just a boy. You know, I mean, by the time you're a teenager in Jewish culture, you're pretty much considered to be a man. So this is a lad. And so he was very willing, wasn't he? Can you just see him tugging on Andrew's leg or his robe and going, Sir, I don't have a lot, but I've got these 5 loaves. And notice what it says about the fish. It didn't say giant fish, did it? 2 small fish, probably tilapia. Very common on the Sea of Galilee for that to be exactly what was being eaten. So he's offering what he has. And basically the point of this message, because I'm going to lead us into a slide presentation in a minute, is I'm so grateful that back in 2011, when I was praying about it and been asked to take this presidency of IACS, I remember saying, Lord, I don't feel even close to being qualified for this. I don't know what I would do. I don't have a clue about how to help people on an international level. But here's what I have. Take it and use it. I had no idea that God was going to open doors in Uganda, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Dominican Republic, in Haiti, in the Bahamas, you know, and that story is still unfolding. My prayer is now that God gives me enough years to, you know, to have a replacement coming on along and to grow people up to be able to carry this work on, because I didn't know what was going to happen. So Jesus said, have the people sit down. There's plenty of grass in that place and they sat down. About 5,000 men were there. So if there were 5,000 men there, what else would you guess there's there? Probably women and children. So we're not talking about feeding the 5,000. We're talking about feeding 5,000 plus. So it's probably safe to say it's more like feeding 10,000, isn't it? But I love the fact that he says there's plenty of grass here, so have them sit down. So basically what Jesus is saying, it's time for a picnic. So he has them sit down. They're not standing and eating on the run. He says, just sit down here. And Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed those who were seated as much as they wanted. Didn't say he rationed it out. He said as much as they wanted. We were at a meal, Matt and I were at a meal, and we were teaching young Christian leaders, and at least 2 of the Christian leaders ordered a fish. And it was a tilapia, and it was, am I exaggerating? Probably about that big on a plate. I mean, it was just this giant whole fish on the plate. And they ate it, and then other people around the table ate it, and everybody was sharing in the tilapia, but they ordered it for themselves, and they ate what they wanted. And that's what happened here. These people got as much as they wanted, and he did the same with the fish. When they'd all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, are we there yet? When they had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted. I love that. Gather it all up. Leftovers from 5 loaves and 2 fish, and we'll call it feeding of 5,000, but we know it was more than that. I love it when people try to discount and find excuses and ways to write off miracles. You ever notice how people do that sometimes? They try to say, well, you know, the weather was just such, or baloney. If Jesus is who he claims to be, the Son of God, miracles are miracles. This is a miracle that can't be explained any other way other than Jesus performed a miracle. He turned 5 loaves and 2 fish into the feeding of a multitude. So he says, let nothing be wasted. So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. So I think there's a lot of significance with the leftovers of the 12 baskets, probably referring to the 12 tribes of Israel and the offer that's still being given to him, plus a reference to his disciples. So I'll let Pastor Bob teach on that at some point. But anyway, so I want to lead us into our conversation now about our trip. So here we go. Uganda 2023. And this is us at the airport as we're about to leave. And you guys were a huge part of this, as you'll see as we go through it. And there's no easy way there. We flew from Miami to Washington, D.C. to Brussels, and then from Brussels down to a place called Kigali, which is in Rwanda. You sit on the airplane just a stone's throw away from where you need to land in Uganda, middle of the night, and then finally you take off and you land in Uganda. And you get picked up at the airport, and it's still about an hour, 2-hour ride out into the jungle to get to where we stayed. Now, where we stayed, the roads have now been paved. Remember the old videos I used to show where I'm getting bounced around all over the place? It's smooth now. So progress has been made since I went back at the beginning of COVID. So I want you to see 3 lengthier clips because this is going to show you where your dollars went. The first one, you're going to have to listen hard to the accent. But Timothy is talking about how many poor people are in Uganda and how you have to help the poorest of poor. He's building a house. I'm going to give you the cliff notes of this. He's building a house for a woman. You will not believe the mud house she's living in. And they build a brick house in the back. So that's the first clip. The second clip is going to be about the demonstration farm that we've helped put in place. You've helped put in place. And then the next will be about the cow project on the demonstration farm. Your dollars directly have gone to buying cows in this demonstration farm. So here we go.
You've been to Uganda many times.
Yeah.
And you've seen many people around here. And most of the people here are poor. But there's too many other people who are more poor than others.
Got it. Right.
So we can't help everybody, but we choose the poorest, the poor of the poorest.
Right.
So as you can see here, this house here.
This is
yes.
the mud house.
The mud house here.
Right.
Was the family for these guys. Okay. This is where they used to. This is where they are staying. Really.
That's their home now.
This is the home. Okay. This is the home. So what we are trying to do is to improve life for them. These are the kids. These are their kids. Okay. So this is the mother, and this is the house where they were staying. So having a home like this to them is like heaven on earth.
Yeah. This is Habitat for Humanity on steroids.
Nobody cuisine. Banange mwebale. Mwebale dada. Mukoze mwebale. So, that's how you can make a difference in life.
So, Timothy, to build a house like this, start to finish, how much money does it cost to build that?
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. $5,000 to build the whole house.
Wow.
Yes. The project is $5,000 that we are looking to build.
And these bricks you're making locally.
Yes.
So you're buying the bricks, or making the bricks.
We buy the bricks, we buy cement, we buy sand, we buy everything, and then we got a contractor to build it.
And a metal roof.
And a metal roof.
Now,
so this one now lacks doors, windows, and finishing it, so that they can move from this one to the other one. We are looking forward to that day when it's done.
how long do you think it'll take?
To finish?
Yeah.
Like now it's like 3 weeks to be done.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. If you have got the money to do it, these guys do it.
Did you just catch how he got that block up to the guy? He just tossed one of the bricks up. He caught it and was putting it in place.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
that's how we make a difference.
Somebody asked me why the kids were naked, and I said, because they didn't have any clothes. You know, it's not like rocket science on that one. So this is the next one about the demonstration farm. These are mounds of cassava and potatoes, all planted by hand. Everything on this farm were planted by hand and without farm equipment. And he's got acres of tomatoes all over the ground, as well as these fields of cassava, which is a big root, like a sweet potato kind of thing that they make almost a mashed potato out of.
Thank you so much. And appreciate you, friends. And we are looking forward. What we need is more land. What we need is machinery, like a tractor that can help us to plow, get more food, get more production, and increase the production so that we may be able to feed ourselves, to sustain ourselves. That's our aim. We need to come to a level where we are self-sustainers, where we can have our own food to feed the kids. You know, 2,544 meals every day, that's a big number.
Tell me again, repeat that again.
2,544 meals.
2,544 meals a day.
Every day. That's a very big number.
Yes. And how many children of your 800 and some odd children have been sponsored?
About 100.
About 100.
Yes.
And that's $40 per child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we are talking about.
So that gives you an idea about, can you imagine that task of figuring out how you're going to feed 2,544 meals every day. So that's what this demonstration farm is all about, and we're doing it to try to teach others how to be self-sustaining. And Matt, by the way, was taking all these videos, did an amazing job. So there's a bunch more of them. I've been posting these online. If you want to go type in Timothy Kakuza and Tony Hammon demonstration farm, there's about a 30-minute YouTube of sort of the whole walk through the demonstration farm that you can take a look at. Now this next one is a little bit longer, but this one is going to show you well, you'll see here in a second, the cows.
Yeah.
Tell us about our cows.
These are cows. First of all, we had one cow.
Right.
For winners. And we have got 2 calves from that cow.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And then we have bought these new ones for the demonstration farm.
Okay.
We want to develop this a demonstration farm whereby we shall be able to bring people to learn how to take care of the cows in order to avoid what is happening when we just give out cows and people don't know how to take care of the cows. That's going to be the cows barn, where they're going to live and be fed, and all this land here, as you've seen it, is where we are going to have the farm. Up the hill there.
Okay.
And going the other side. So we are still renting this land at $300 every 6 months per acre.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wow.
So we want to buy this land.
Timothy, if I'm not mistaken, one of those cows is a bull, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some more cows here.
Yes. That is what we are planning to do.
Yeah.
That's what we are looking forward to doing, because we want even this project of giving cows to be sustaining, to be like it's not stopping. Like when Tony is no longer coming, or people are no longer giving cows, we must have like where we can get 1 or 2 cows to give out to other people.
Right.
That is the main objective of the demonstration farm here.
So right here, right now, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Are there any others?
Yeah. There's a small one there.
Oh, there's one over there. Okay, 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 of them.
Oh, there's another one over there, 11.
Yeah. Pastor Emma, you need to make one. Okay. So 3 of them from the other calf.
Right.
Then 7 of them, these are from this time. for the demonstration farm.
Okay.
So that gives us almost the number of 16 cows that we wanted to do.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I said we had to do 14,
Yeah.
and if we could do 16 or 17, we made it.
Yeah.
So,
We
good.
wanted to have that target. So,
Yeah.
and I wanted to bring all cows to the demonstration farm, but it wouldn't look better to other people. So I had to give them a chance this time, and with strict instructions to take care of the cow very
Right,
well.
right. So, for those watching this video back home,
Yeah.
we lost some cows during COVID
Yes.
because they couldn't take care of it. And we gave cows, and the people didn't have the means
Yeah.
or the training to be able to care for the cows.
Yeah.
And so this is a way, as we saw the other day from the young man that had the one cow and had 4 calves,
Yeah.
and was producing all that milk. This is a way for other orphanages to get the cows
Yes.
and have a red end, teach them how to take care of them as well.
Yeah. So this will be like where people can come and learn, where people can come and see. Want to show them how to take care of the cow,
Right.
how to milk it, how to feed it, how to get the doctor, the vet doctor to visit it. Those kind of the medicine to use, the spray, dipping the cows.
Yes.
We are going to have a dipping place here. We are looking forward towards that, to have where cows can be dipped. Want to have water system, want to get the water from there, treat it, so the cows can get good water to drink, because we have got water around this place.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good.
So,
Well, I'm pleased with this. This
Yes.
is very good.
yes. So, that's what we are trying to do. And
So how many cows, and when you with these cows we have here, about how many children would you say this would feed?
with this 10 times, we could say 10 times 15 liters a day, that would be about 150 liters, and that would be like 500 kids.
About, and do you give each child a half a liter,
Yes.
or do you mix it in porridge like the
Yeah,
other?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we do.
So they,
Because now, as for now, we have got 2 milking cows, those ones
right,
that we are milking. We can't have the whole milk for all the kids.
right.
But with time, we can afford to get the sufficient milk to feed
Right.
all the children.
So the one orphanage was mixing their milk and making it in porridge, and they were providing milk for all 600 of their children there at the school.
Yeah.
And then the other orphanage that we were involved in, they were giving it to babies, and so they were giving each baby half a liter. So they were providing about 102 babies or more a day with milk, depending on whether they get 17 liters or not.
Yes, yes. So that's it, and I believe this is going to be very helpful, fruitful, and bring good health to the children.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So we are so appreciative. Friends, thank you so much for supporting the cow project. It's doing the work.
Yeah.
It's multiplying, and many kids are being fed, and many kids are continuing to be quite fed. So we are looking forward to having more cows as we give them out. We want to multiply what you see here to other orphanages.
What would you guess, Timothy, our total cow count is now of all the cows that are given away over the years?
About 120.
About 100, 120, and that's because of births. We lost some during COVID,
Yes.
but many of the cows are having calves,
Yes.
as we're seeing, which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, good. That's encouraging.
So the cow project, it provides protein to the children.
Yes.
So this protein is used for the kids. Sometimes we mix it with porridge to make sure that everybody gets a bit of it.
Yes.
That's the idea behind mixing it with porridge.
Sure. It spreads it further.
Yes,
Right.
spread further. So we are happy and we are doing well. And thank you so much, Tony. Thank the Rotary Club of the kids. Thank you for your support all these years to the cow project. And also want to thank Island Community Church for standing strong with us. And all of you people who have individually contributed towards the cow project.
All of
This has been
the
so good. We appreciate you people.
all the Mike Forrester
Yeah, Mike
folks that have
Foster,
given. Thank you for that.
Yes, yes,
So the mayor.
yeah, the mayor, the mayor. So
Well, thank you, Timothy,
Thank
for
you.
having vision, for
thank
making
you.
this all happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So that gives you an idea about where your dollars have gone. I mean, directly. You know, in addition to what you did here at the church, then the Lindbacks went out and Craig and the guys went out and got a bunch of people in the community to give in honor of Mike. And so that's what we're referring to there at the end of that. So it's been pretty amazing. If you want to do the math on it, imagine that each cow is producing 17 liters, which is, that's ideally. They're not all producing 17 liters of milk, but that's the number you hope for. 17 liters. If they gave each child a half a liter, and we have 120 cows in Uganda, figure out how many children are being fed by that many cows. I mean, that's a phenomenal number, and you're making a phenomenal impact because of that. And now what we're doing is making this much more sustainable, because we were finding that they didn't have the means to go out and get a vet if they needed a vet to come take care of the animals, so they'd lose the animal, especially during COVID when there was no money. So those are the three big clips. There are a couple others that we'll fly through, but I'm going to just show you some real quick slides so we don't run out of time. But just take a look at these, and Matt, if you have something you want to add, just chime in and say, hey, oh yeah, I thought of this, and let me know. So picture of Matt with first day. This is, we rested Saturday morning a little bit because we got in very late on Friday, rested Saturday morning. We went to the source of the Nile to fulfill a promise, and that was to spread Mike's ashes, some of Mike Forster's ashes, because we were standing by this statue, and Gandhi never apparently visited Uganda, but they took his heart and they put his heart here at the source of the Nile, and Mike said, yeah, I could see that happening with me, or something along that same line. So in keeping that promise, that's what we did. And so little small container. So Mike is spread out all over the place. He's at East Cape, backcountry, Florida Bay. So he's just about everywhere, along with his dogs. I spread 6 cremains of dog ashes out at East Cape. If you can imagine that. So here we are on the Nile. And this is the village. This is taken from the church. So this is Katusi. Now, that's very deceptive because that looks pristine. But if you recognize, those are shacks, and the poverty level is horrendous. But it's nothing compared to some of the fishing villages that we went in terms of the poverty level. But so this was Sunday. I got to preach 3 times. So you can see that his church is a healthy church, and it's a very alive church. I mean, it's don't go expecting Mattacumby Methodist when you go there, because it is a Ugandan African church, and you just go, whoa, that's pretty exciting. That's about the best way to describe it. You don't understand anything they have to say because they're speaking Lugandan. This was Father's Day, and we all got on stage as fathers, and I happened to look down at the guy standing next to me, and I saw this on his foot. Now, I'm a biology guy, biology teacher, but when I saw this, I was kind of like, because that's a sore, his foot is literally just rotting away, and they've got medicine on it, but that's what you see all over the place in Uganda. So, out on Monday morning early, first thing we did, we gave away 2 cows. Matt got to give away a lot of these cows this year. This is another cow that we got to give away at another little spot. And these kids all greeted us with these green branches. And they were singing, "You are welcome." And I've forgotten all the things they said, but they welcomed us. This is a picture of their newer school building. You can look in the back. You can see the old building, which that's typically what you see of classrooms. That's not a place where they keep the cows or livestock. That's a classroom. This is a school almost on the Kenyan border. We drove out into eastern Uganda, almost to Kenya, and we ran into this school. And the man that's leading this is named Simon. He's an incredibly articulate, great leader. This is the high school group, secondary school they call it, and then this next one it's it actually moves around a little bit. You can see how many primary children, elementary age children in this program. School is only a few years old. In fact, it's so new that they don't have dormitories yet. The kids are sleeping in their classrooms. This is where the children sleep. All those kids that you saw are sleeping in here. He's got signs all over the place, warning children, cautioning them of various things. This one just says, COVID is real and can kill. Just a little warning, kids, not to take it for granted. Here we are giving a cow to him. As we were leaving, the guy brought up a turkey. It was a live turkey. We had this was like driving from here to Orlando almost. And he hands us a turkey, and I'm going, "Are you taking that turkey?" And he goes, "Yeah." He throws it in the back of the car. So all the way from almost to Kenya back to Katusi, we've got this turkey laying in the back of the car. Merrily pooped his way all the way back to Katusi, and it was, we kept rolling the window down and having to air the place out a little bit. But and then later on, somebody brought, was it a chicken? I brought a chicken, and we didn't take the chicken, fortunately, because we thought the chicken and the turkey might not get along. We stopped at this little school. It was a pretty poor school. We gave this cow away. Matt gave it away, and then I gave this lady a cow, and I thank her. You can't hear what I'm saying very well, but I thank her. I talk about Matacumby Methodist, and I talk about Island Community. I talk about Mike and the Rotary clubs, because Upper Keys Rotary clubs, well, both of the clubs. The little one in the middle there, I don't know if you saw that dress. That may be the only dress she has, just to put it in perspective. That's the reason it's so filthy and so ragged looking. This building is at Timothy's facility. The reason I put this slide up, you guys remember last time I was here, I showed you pictures of the Rick Strong playground, and Mike had climbed up and was sitting on scaffolding of a building. That scaffolding, that's that building. So that building has been finished during COVID, and that's now a classroom complex, and I love the statement, Winter's Home Uganda, New Life Building, making the invisible God visible. That's a girls' dorm that's still under construction, but obviously they really made some progress. This is the girls' dorm. You can see how much nicer it is compared to what we've been seeing in past years. Just some of the kids. We got to restore. Matt got to restore. I won't even lay any credit for this other than laying out some money for it. We got to put in the Rick Strong playground because that equipment was in bad shape and had been just left almost to the side. And I said, "That's not acceptable, Timothy. We've got to get the Rick Strong playground back in shape." So they moved it. This is out in the middle of a courtyard, and they're bringing equipment in and you'll see some more of that in just a minute. We spoke to the Rotary Club of Makuno, the leadership, about partnering with the Rotary Club. They're very excited about that. This lady on the left there in the burgundy is the incoming president, has about as much grace as a porcupine. But we hope that we're going to be able to work with her. Very interesting lady. We then went to Lugazi, and this lady on this side is Bernard's wife, and those are her two children. We were able to give her 1 million shillings, which is about $300, because her husband had died of COVID. He's buried right here on the school grounds, and we got to just pray with her and love on her a bit before we traveled on out to our next stop, which was this little school, very poor school. This is typical of the schools where they put alphabet and signs, a lot of biology things, anatomy on the sides of the buildings. They use them as teaching tools, as you can see here. You would expect these kids to have frowns on their faces all the time. They're just filled with joy. They don't know that they don't have anything. I thought, if American kids could be so grateful. So we gave a cow to this school. This school we drove up to, and it was a sea of purple. This is probably the most energetic school we went to. It was incredible. Young guy that you'll meet here in a minute named Elijah. And, oh my goodness. Well, you'll see. So we gave him 1 cow in 2018. And watch what's happening.
Thank you.
So we gave this school 1 cow several years ago. It was 2000, and so 4 calves
Yes.
have been born to this cow. So we're grateful for the school and the way they've cared for
Yes.
the cattle.
So that's awesome. I mean, this guy figured it out. You know, he took the 1 cow that we gave him, has got 4 cows, and then watch this part.
Here's a pretty good model for how to do this for other schools. Doesn't take a whole lot. Food source. Cows are very healthy.
Good job. Thank you.
Yes, very much so. As Matt said, great stewardship. How many liters are your cow producing? How many liters of milk?
Liters 7 in the evening, and then in the morning 10 liters.
So about 17 total.
Yes, 17
Yeah.
in a day.
And are you cutting that 3 to 1? 3 to 1? Or how do you give the milk to the children?
To the children,
They
we
mix
usually
it with porridge?
we mix it with porridge, because if we do only milk, it would not be enough. So we mix it in the porridge and then serve to the children
So how many children are fed by 17 liters a day?
a day.
All kids
All
at
the
school
children,
take
the
porridge.
the 680.
So they mix the porridge. They mix the milk with
So
the porridge.
600 a day are getting food
Yes.
from these cattle.
Yes.
Wow, wow. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
So we're trying to model this for other people, and that's what we're trying to do with the demonstration farm, because he figured out this is residue sorghum grain left over from a brewery in Jinja that he buys, and Matt actually paid for this truckload. I didn't know he was going to do it until he took out the money and handed it to the guy to pay for this truckload of this. And he said, what do you say, Matt, about a month this would last? So this feed from this truck will last about a month. So here we are. We then, from there, go back. We now are in Makuno. The traffic was so bad we had to get out and hike to where the Rotary Club was. Matt was terrified that one of my hearing aids had gone out, so he's terrified I was going to get run over by boda or by a truck, and he's guarding and making sure I don't kill myself. And I didn't know he'd even taken that picture. This is at the Rotary Club. We presented them with our banners. They gave us a banner, and it was a great time. Then Matt, his first year, you get a little freaked when all the kids are around you, and they loved Matt. They loved to be around him. He has a Lion of Judah tattoo on his arm, which they really loved, and Matt was doing okay until when I tried to lick it. And it was, that was about the end of it. But Matt is putting in the playground equipment, the concrete, and he can tell you all about what that's like at some point. But there's with slide swings. We repaired a swing, or I guess we were getting the swing repaired. I don't know if we ever got to that. And we concreted in a bunch of stuff. There's the new equipment being concreted in the ground. These are the kids just there. You can see somewhere up in there. Oh, here we are. There they are looking at his Lion of Judah tattoo, and nobody's licking it yet, but they were enjoying being around him. While in the meantime, I was off teaching Christian educators at an educators conference. These are school administrators and teachers. We gave them all shirts that had been donated from here, from one of the marinas that had gone out of business, and they love these shirts. There's about, we had enough for those and a bunch left over. And then we gave away soccer balls, and those holding the little signs are ones that just joined the association. Then we went to a fishing village. This is where I said, you talk about poverty? This was poverty of poverty. And sadly, it was so poor, these people didn't know how to get out of it, honestly. I mean, they're just that poor. And these kinds of places are discouraging. They're living on government land, don't own land, but they're content to be there, and so there's a generational cycle that has to be broken as we go into this and deal with this. There's some more pictures of it. You can see, what it looks like. This main street of this very impoverished village. This is back at the baby's home. Remember you talked about Mike and how he loved baby's home? Watch this.
This is in remembrance of Mike Foster. Mike loved the babies here at the baby's home.
Yes.
So we want to dedicate this to Mike's honor, remembering what his love, his commitment to the babies here was too much. So this will be like an eating place. Mike, was connected with
Mangrove Mike's.
So this will be their place.
So we'll call this the Mangrove Mike's Dining Hall.
Yes.
And we will serve chicken on a stick,
Yes.
which he loved, but we could never get him to bring it in the restaurant.
Yeah. So anyway, we are happy. It is a big project, but soon we'll hope to finish it.
Good. Let me know. We'll have to get a plaque.
Yes.
Put Mangrove Mike's
Yes.
up on it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Timothy.
Welcome.
Thank you for remembering Mike and honoring him in this way. I know his family will appreciate it.
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate it. People in the Keys will
Yeah.
be extremely grateful for it. So,
Thank you.
so thank you for that.
Thank you.
So that's it. And we made it just about in the nick of time. So thank you guys for your contribution to all that took place in Uganda this year and in the past years. Father, we thank you for today, and thank you so much for this church. And just for the folks that are here, this is a second home to me, and I just pray your blessing over the church and their pastor, and thank you for the privilege I've had to be here today, and thank you for all that they have given and contributed to Uganda. Thank you for your love and your grace and mercy. Just thank you for your son and for the sacrifice that he made, not just for us, but for the people throughout this entire world. We love you and we thank you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, thanks everybody.